Everyone's got a favourite Animal Crossing villager. Bob, Raymond, or Anchor, perhaps. But what about the villagers that people don't like? Villagers you might persuade to move out of your town? Well, to find out which villagers people hate and which ones they love, I had people vote for their favourite Animal Crossing villagers out of a possible 488. A couple of months have gone by and over 1 million votes have been counted. And now it's time to find out who people's most and least favourite villagers are. Let's go! Part 1. Counting the votes. The first step in the process was deciding which villagers to include. There are a whole lot of villagers across the 5 mainline Animal Crossing games, plus the spin-offs. And not all of those villagers are super well known. You've got characters like Bessie or Hector, who are only found in the older Animal Crossing games. Or how about villagers who never left Japan at all, like Isle or Analog? Plus promotional villagers like Wolflink from Zelda, or Philly, a tie-in with the convenience store chain 7-Eleven. Would it really be fair to compare these obscure characters with the villagers everyone knows and loves in New Horizons? Well, in the end, I just decided to include them all anyway. Who am I to decide who deserves to be included? Which means there's 488 villagers in total. How do we get people to rank all of them? Well, I had a few options. In the past, I've created surveys using Google Forms where people can manually give each item a rating from 1 to 5. That works well for small sets of games or characters, but with almost 500 villagers in total, asking people to manually rate them one by one is out of the question. So method 2 is Google searches. With Pokemon, for instance, if you find out how many times each Pokemon is searched for on Google, say per month, then you've got a pretty good idea of their popularity. The Pokemon with the most searches, like Pikachu, is the most popular, and the ones with the least searches are the least popular. But that doesn't work for Animal Crossing villagers because of their names. Lots of people are searching for ketchup on Google each month. But they're not looking for the villager ketchup, they're trying to buy bottles of tomato ketchup. So we'll have to scratch that method too. So how did I end up doing it? Well, inspired by Tom Scott, I created a website from the ground up where people would be shown 2 random villagers, and then they simply had to click or tap on the villager they liked more, and that would be registered as a win on the system. The villagers with the highest win-to-loss ratio were the most popular. Simple. Now, I'm no web design pro, and my hastily bodged together website did encounter some issues. Someone spammed over 400,000 votes early on, and so all of those had to be deleted. Plus, the traffic to the website was so high that my web hosting company sent me a stern email. But in the end, it all held together, and 2 months later, over 1 million votes have been submitted. That's more than I ever imagined when I started working on this video. Thank you very much to everyone who submitted votes. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's go through the data that we've collected. So there's almost 500 villagers in total, and rather than spend half an hour reading out a list of names, I'm going to pick out the top 25 and bottom 25 villagers. Part 2, the results. So let's start with the popular ones. In 25th is Whitney. In 24th is Ione. 23rd is Stitches. 22nd is Molly. 21st is Zucker. Then in 20th is Marina. 19th is Apollo. 18th is Goldie. 17th is Sasha. 16th is Rolled. 15th is Fauna. 14th is Maple. 13th is Marshall. 12th is Coco, and 11th is Meringue. And that brings us to the top 10. In 10th, we have Punchy, the lazy cat villager. In 9th is Fang, the cranky wolf villager. In 8th is Anchor, the ancient Egypt-inspired cat villager. Then in 7th is Audie, the peppy wolf villager. In 6th is Shino, the peppy deer villager. And with that, we're down to the top 5. In 5th place is Lucky, the lazy dog villager. Now, Lucky's been in every single Animal Crossing game to date, and he has a pretty striking appearance. He may be called Lucky, but he's covered in bandages, with just his glowing left eye peeking through. Spooky. Then in 4th place is Bob, the lazy cat villager. Like Lucky, Bob's also been in every single Animal Crossing game to date, and I have to admit that I did expect him to rank pretty high on the list. I've noticed a whole lot of people online seem to really like Bob, and that is fitting, as Bob was the first ever villager that the Animal Crossing developers created. That's why his birthday is January the 1st. And so, to see him up there in the top 5 most popular villagers is pretty neat. In 3rd place, we have Lolly, the normal cat villager. Now, while Japanese players were first introduced to Lolly on the GameCube, it wasn't until City Folk that she made her international debut. And Lolly is a real sweetie. Literally, both her name and her catchphrase, Bon Bon, are themed around different types of candy. Add that to the fact Lolly will burst out into song in Animal Crossing New Horizons, it seems that Lolly has a real positive take on life. And I like that. Next, in 2nd place, the runner-up is Tangy, the peppy cat villager. Or perhaps I should say Tangy, because this villager's design is based on a tangerine. In English, both her name and her character design are based on tangerines, but in Japanese, things go one step further. Her catchphrase is mikan, a type of mandarin orange, and her name is hyaku-pa. Hyaku means 100, and pa is short for %, 100%, as in 100% pure orange juice. Now that really is tangy, or tangy, which means that in 1st place, the most popular Animal Crossing villager, according to the survey, is Rosie, the peppy cat villager. I feel like Rosie is one of the most iconic villagers in the Animal Crossing series. She's been in every game to date. She was one of the central characters in the animated Animal Crossing movie. She's got a sticker in Smash Bros. Brawl, and she's on the front of the game boxes of City Folk, Happy Home Designer, and even Amiibo Festival. Plus, she's even one of the spaces on the official Nintendo Monopoly board alongside KK Slider and Tom Nook. Wow. So yes, Rosie really has had a big impact as a villager, and she's also got a really nice, simple, friendly-looking character design. Villagers like Lucky, Coco, or Ione may have more unique concepts, but as a villager you want to chat to or live alongside, you really can't beat a simple, friendly villager like Rosie. But that's only the popular villagers. Next, let's move on to the not-so-popular ones. Here are the bottom 25. 25th from the bottom is Tammy. 24th is Oxford. 23rd is Clyde. 22nd is Keaton. 21st is Kashmir. 20th is Rocket. 19th is Rilla. 18th is Coach. 17th is Rodney. 16th is Chico. 15th is Barreled. 14th is Hippo. 13th is Rizzo. 12th is Al. And 11th is Violet. Which brings us to the bottom 10 villagers. 10th from the bottom is Tiara, the snooty rhinoceros villager. 9th is Jambette, the normal frog villager. 8th is Clara, the normal hippo villager. 7th is Yodel, the lazy gorilla villager. 6th is Boyd, the cranky gorilla villager. In 5th from the bottom is Moose, the jock mouse villager. Now, Moose is just really ugly. Some of these bottom villagers only appeared in Japanese versions of the games, or maybe they were islanders in the original Animal Crossing game. Characters that my audience members won't necessarily know very well. But Moose has been in City Folk, New Leaf, and New Horizons. People have had plenty of opportunities to get to know him. but clearly they haven't liked what they've seen. And yes, seen is probably the key word, because Moose is really just not very appealing looking as a character, and so he ended up in 5th. In 4th place is Elise, the snooty monkey villager. Now, Elise has been in every Animal Crossing game since Wild World, so again, obscurity can't be the reason for her popularity. My guess? It's her personality. A lot of the villagers near the bottom of the list are cranky, lazy, or snooty, and Elise is particularly bad on that front. Her catchphrase is "please," and her favourite saying is "do as I say, not as I do." Not someone I'd like to spend a lot of time with. Then, 3rd from the bottom, we have Limberg, the cranky mouse villager. Now, not only is Limberg's design pretty ugly, his whole character is based around odour. Limberg, his English name, is short for Limburger, a particularly smelly cheese. In Japanese, he's called rakkyo, which is a smelly type of onion. Combine that with his catchphrase, squinky, a combination of squeak and stinky. It's clear that the game's designers had odour on their minds when they came up with Limberg. And frankly, a smelly, stinky, odorous villager doesn't really appeal to me. In 2nd place, the 2nd least popular Animal Crossing villager is Harry, the hippo villager. Now, originally, Harry was a jock-type character, but in City Folk, he was changed into a cranky villager instead, which is not a great sign. Like I said, cranky or snooty villagers tend to be unpopular. Plus, Harry's design is very striking. He's a hippo with a beard, which may explain his name. Harry, or Hairy, you could say. I personally don't really like this character design, to be honest. A beard doesn't suit everyone, and I'm not convinced it really suits Harry. And so, he came in 2nd to last. Only one villager is even less popular. Which brings us to last place. The least popular villager in the entire Animal Crossing series is Jane, the snooty gorilla villager. Now, Jane has so much working against her. She's snooty, which is unpopular. She hasn't appeared in any Animal Crossing games since the GameCube, which means she's somewhat forgotten. And she has a very outlandish character design indeed. With her chimp catchphrase and the name Jane, it seems likely that this villager was based on Jane Goodall, the world-famous chimpanzee researcher. But with everything that Jane Goodall has achieved in her decades-long career, is Jane, the snooty gorilla villager, really much of a tribute? I wonder what Goodall would think of her Animal Crossing counterpart. But it turns out this isn't even Jane's original design. In the games Doubutsu no Mori and Doubutsu no Mori E+, both of which were only released in Japan, Jane has a completely different character design. This version of Jane, or should I say Fiba, as she's called in Japanese, seems to take inspiration from a Japanese fashion trend called ganguro, where people tan their skin, bleach their hair, and wear colourful clothes and makeup. The ganguro movement evolved as a kind of rebellion against traditional Japanese beauty standards. But to international audiences, a gorilla villager with dark skin and big pink lips could perhaps bring to mind more negative connotations. At least that's my best guess as to why Jane's character design was completely overhauled. Unfortunately, this new design is no more a hit than the original likely would have been, which means that ultimately Jane comes in at 488th on the list. In other words, last place. And there we have it. Thanks so much for coming on this journey with me. If you want to see where your favourite villager came in the rankings, I've set up a website with the full list of villagers and where they came in the list. You can check that out at thomasgamedocs.com/Animal Crossing. And this video would not have been possible without the kind support of my patrons. One patron in particular, Luke, helped me troubleshoot a whole lot of problems that the website faced, plus money from Patreon helped pay for the web hosting for this project. If you want to help support videos like this one you're watching right now, you can do that at patreon.com/ThomasGameDocs. Again, a huge thanks to everyone who took part in the rankings of villagers for this project. I never expected to get 1 million votes. That's kind of unbelievable. So yeah, huge thanks. Hopefully, seeing the results was interesting. And I'll see you next time in my next video. Bye. And as always, an extra special thanks to my $10 patrons. Jason Hughes, I Need Togepi, Thomas Sunderland, Alison Withenall, Fallen AJ, Candy Crystal, Kelly Wright, Michael JHD, Michael Gunter, Daryl Jero, Lucas Little, Cyprian Eov, Joseph Maltby, Jim Gilsonan, Ellie Birnbaum, and Evan Kinney.